dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the twilight zone.
What's up, y'all? How are y'all today? Sorry I'm late. In the middle of shit, trying to get shit done today. Hey, Cash, I see you, buddy. So, hey, Whispers. Hey, Mimi. So, yesterday, I'm pretty sure some of y'all saw it, that that trial was on hold because one of the officers was trying to get the form not entered into evidence. Hey, Bo. Because basically he knew if that form would have been entered into evidence, it would not match the body cam footage, and he knew he'd be fucked. So his lawyers tried to argue yesterday not to include those forms. His lawyer also stated if it was included in the trial that it should be grounds for dismissal, basically. Well, the judge did come back, and we got a win. They are allowed in evidence. So thank God that the judge allowed it. And it honestly, it shows a pattern of perjury that they commit time and time again. So that's why I was like, no, those forms need to be admitted. They need to be admitted in court because it does show a pattern. They also had a key witness yesterday that testified. They added the response to resistance form. And one of the witnesses, I'll read this article to you. Response to resistance RTR forms from Bean, Smith, and Haley were approved and entered into evidence Thursday. According to expert witness Lance Wright, all three of the RTR forms submitted by each officer after the beating of Tyre Nichols were inaccurate in some capacity. Lieutenant Wright says officers are to fill out these forms when they experience resistance during an arrest and use of force in response to this resistance. He says that in these RTRs, officers must recount the details of the encounter to the best of their ability. Wright was questioned on each officer's RTR separately. When asked about the accuracy of Tadarius Bean's report, he stated that it was inaccurate compared to what was seen on body cam footage. They did not tell what force they used, said Wright. Now, Wright is also the one who approved these forms, FYI. Just FYI, he approved these forms. He's the one who approved this shit. He helped try to cover it up. Just FYI. He previously mentioned that officers are trained in soft hand techniques. Wright says Bean used the term in his RTR report, but claims that officers are not trained to use soft hand techniques with closed hands, which Bean was seen on video doing. When questioned about Justin Smith's RTR, Wright said that nowhere on the report was it stated that Bean or Smith punched Nichols or that they had their hands on him at all. Also, nothing was said about the kicks to Nichols. Wright's response to the RTR from Demetrius Haley was very similar to the previous two, except he also mentioned from his Haley report, I would say that he wasn't at the second scene. Haley also allegedly never mentioned the kicks to Nichols in his report. He said that one of the consequences of writing a false report is termination. During cross-examinations, Kevin Whitmore asked about MPD policy concerning resistance and force. On Thursday, Wright described the policy as being little resistance equals little force, and a lot of the resistance equals a lot of force, and so on. Whitmore argued that this was not the direct policy, to which Wright explained that making the comparison in a way of easily explaining the policy, though, so that it's better understood. Wright says the words verbatim are make the resistance and force match. The duty to intervene policy was entered into evidence, along with the curriculum of the MPD Training Academy. According to Wright, officers spend about 920 hours at the academy in total, and each class has a different amount of required hours. Whitmore made the argument that the classes which might be considered more important for officers' day-to-day required less training hours than the ones involving situations officers may not face as often. He mentioned that the gun training class is 208 hours total, yet an officer may never fire their service weapon in the line of duty. The jury was dismissed and the trial was scheduled to pick back up on Monday morning with Wright still on the stand. And then that's when they had paused the trial for basically to determine if they were going to let these forms allowed into evidence. Because like I said, I believe it was Haley's lawyer that was arguing that it shouldn't be. So, yeah, it was him. The questions is whether some of the statements filled out by Officer Demetrius Haley will be admissible in court. A lot of this centers around the statement officers must give to MPD anytime there is a use of force, which are called Garrity statements. In court on Monday, there was a hearing to decide if those statements in response to resistance forms can be admitted as evidence in this case. All of this was heard without a jury present, and the judge will decide if they can be presented in the presence of a jury. This is important. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm tired of this shit doing that. That is the second time it's done that shit. Fuck it. Anyway, all of this was heard without a jury present, and now the judge will decide if they can be presented in the presence of a jury. This is important because what Officer Wright in those forms will be looked at and compared to what is seen in the video of Tyre Nichols being beaten. Former Officer Demetrius Haley wanted those documents excluded from the trial. Haley took the stand briefly to answer questions about what he thought would happen in the Garrity statements he made and the resistance forms he filled out. He was questioned about whether he was compelled to fill them out or complained about not wanting to. He admitted that he talked about the forms with other officers and defendant Darius Bean. Haley also admitted to leaving out information on the form, but it said it was not on purpose. Defense attorney says the forms and Garrity statement should be protected. If not, it should be a mistrial. So that's pretty much what his lawyers was arguing, that those statements shouldn't be allowed in court. And I was fireball hot because I'm like, why are we even questioning this shit when that shows a pattern? They had committed perjury on a use of force form previously the night before because they had kicked a person or a suspect that was handcuffed already. They left that out in the form. Then the next night, that's when they beat Tyre and they left out all of that fucking information. So, but I'm glad the judge made the right decision and actually allowed those forms in court because that would have been fucked up. Because, like I said, it shows a pattern, and without those forms and comparing it to the body cam, what can you compare it to? So I'm glad that the judge made the right decision about this because I honestly thought the judge was going to turn around and do some fuck shit and be like, nope, we're not going to allow it. Now, I'm pretty sure the lawyers are going to argue some more about those forms, and I'm pretty sure, and I might want to look into that Garrity statement because I wonder if it's truly private, and if it's, my thought is if it's a private protected form, and it shouldn't be released to the public, because I know Tennessee is trying to pass laws to certain forms that police fill out should never be allowed in public. I know they're trying to pass that law in Nashville. I talked about it previously. And basically, you won't be able to investigate a police if. No, I cut it off. I cut it off. It shouldn't be on at all. Because I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. Every time I come live, my camera just cut out in the middle. But I had been cut it off though. But they're already trying to pass laws to where you basically can't investigate police and their fucking wrongdoings. So I wonder if that Garrity statement will that Garrity statement fuck up the trial? Will the lawyers turn around later on down the road and say, well, that form shouldn't have been allowed, so we want a retrial? And the Supreme Court fucking agree with it or some crazy shit. I don't know, but I'm glad that the judge decided to do the right fucking thing with that, because like I said, it shows a pattern. It shows them committing perjury time and time again. It shows them lying on the reports. It shows them going out their way trying to cover this shit up. So I don't see why it shouldn't have been, and I don't know why the lawyers were trying to argue that it shouldn't be. That's crazy. It's crazy bullshit. And see, I didn't know this. So one of the instructors at the MPD Training Academy said that the use of force along with the traffic stop itself was against MPD policy. Oh boy. They cannot use force as punishment. I'm hoping that they sock it to their ass. I really do. I really hope that I hope the jury makes the right decision, because this shit here. Oh, so the attorneys are going to still request a mistrial for this. They threatened the judge that they were going to request a mistrial if the forms were allowed. So I'm pretty sure we'll be hearing in the next few days that they're requesting a mistrial for this. Judge Norris ruled that the forms are not protected under the defendant's Garrity rights, and said that the defense motions to not allow the forms was ultimately untimely. Excuse me. The judge also said that the defense knew that the items were part of evidence presented by the prosecution during discovery. Ooh. I don't know how that'll go. All right, so the judge, prosecutors, defendants, and their attorneys held a Garrity hearing Friday morning. A Garrity hearing is about Garrity rights, which protects a public employee from being compelled to incriminate themselves during investigatory interviews conducted by their employers. Jurors were not present for the hearing. A question is whether response to the resistance RTR forms for the night from the night of Nichols' beating can be used in evidence. I'm gonna have to look that shit up because I ain't never heard of that. And I wonder will they like I said, I wonder if they'll try to take that to the Supreme Court or our Supreme Court and try to. But I'm with the judge. Y'all knew that shit was in the discovery. Why y'all didn't say nothing back then? Y'all should have fight to get that shit removed back when y'all was looking. Come on, man. But they're gonna try anything to wheedle out of this shit. They are. They're gonna try any and everything. Overnight, prosecutors filed a heated response to a defense attorney's motion to suppress key evidence in the federal trials. Defense attorneys want to suppress blah, blah, blah. In response, the United States Attorney's Office said that the United States opposes the defendant's untimely mid-trial motion to suppress the false use of force form reports that wrote about their fatal assault of Tyre Nichols. Those documents could be key to the government's case against former MPD officers Darius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith. The former officers are on federal trial. We all know for what. The use of force forms that they signed underplay what happened that night. If the jury doesn't see that information, it would be a blow to the prosecution. Prosecutors argued that it could have implications for law enforcement agencies across the country. And then, of course, the judge finally came back and said, no, we're not allowing it. Lieutenant Lance Wright told the government prosecutor, after watching some of that video, officers had a duty to intervene. No, they wasn't going to intervene. We saw that. They were sitting there laughing, thinking that shit was funny. I want to know when the EMTs come into play. I want to see when they testify, goddamn it, because I want to hear they bullshit. But the trial is supposed to last till the end of this month. But at least we got a win. The judge did allow the documents in court. I knew the defense was going to pull all type of fuck shit, so I wonder what else they're going to try to pull in the middle of this damn trial. That shit there was, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know how they're playing the game. They know exactly what they're doing and trying to, in every possible way, get these cops off. And I'm sorry. No. You fucked around and you're going to find out, hopefully. I hope. You took it too far. Y'all should have stopped a long time ago, but instead y'all continued to beat him as if he wasn't a fucking human being. All because he ran. And because y'all pepper sprayed y'all goddamn selves like some goddamn Dumbo to goddamn clowns. Like y'all stupid as hell. They really need to have an IQ test for to become a police officer because these motherfuckers are dumber than a goddamn box of rocks. Then they can sit here and say they don't know the law, but then if we sit here and turn around and say we don't know the law, nope, that's not an excuse for us. But them it'll work. Bullshit. What the fuck? Man jumps on moving garbage truck to flee. What the fuck? See, this is that shit I be talking about in Memphis. This man really jumped in a garbage truck to get away from two shoot. Wow. You never know what the fuck you'll see in Memphis, man. You never fucking know. But I'm glad that the judge came with the right decision. I was about to get pissed off if the judge said no. I really was, because I was like, here we go. Here we go with this bullshit. Y'all had plenty of time to get this shit thrown out. And now all of a sudden y'all want during trial to say, no, we don't want that admitted because it's not going to match the body cams. And so it's going to make him look even worse. That's the point. That's the point. It's to show a pattern of behavior that your officers have done numerous times over and over again. They have constantly lied on these goddamn reports and committed perjury. And then when they get called out on it, no, that should be private. That's protected. No, it's not. It shouldn't be. If you was bold enough to put that shit on the form and stand by it, then be bold enough to stand by it in trial. If you claim you did nothing wrong and you feel like you've done nothing wrong, stand by that shit in trial. But of course, I know, like I said previously, the defense is going to do what they need to do to try to get these folks off. I think it's bullshit, but I understand that they have a job to do. At the end of the day, though, they guilty. We saw it on camera. Everybody saw it on camera. Everybody watched what they did to Tyre. Everybody. And under no circumstances should they be let off or let go free because, well, they're police officers. Like, that's fuck shit. That's bullshit. Because, like, I'm going to keep saying this. Let it been me, I would be in jail right now on $1 million bond. Maybe two, because they've been handing out $1 million bonds lately. These folks was able to get bonded out, live their life like they ain't done shit wrong. I don't know what they're doing as far as work-wise. Hell, they might have moved to DeSoto and got hired there for all I know. I don't know, but these folks got to live their life like ain't shit happened. Meanwhile, Tyre's family, his son, his mother, his father, everybody in his family has to sit here and see these folks free. That's bullshit. Let it have been anybody else in Memphis, we would be sitting in jail until our trial date came along. But I'm like I said, I'm not gonna be here long because I was in the middle of doing some shit. That's why I was late anyway. But of course, I guess we'll resume Monday, or if I got a few other cases folks have asked me to look at and asked me to talk about them. There's a truck driver that some weird shit happened with his case. It just happened, I believe, this week, where they found a rope around his neck, but he wasn't hung. It wasn't a lynching. And they're already saying it wasn't a lynching, but the autopsy report hasn't came back yet. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. And then there's another one in Middle Tennessee that's going on that has been covered, but it looks like the daddy's guilty because the story he's saying just isn't physically possible with what happened to his son. So I've been looking into those cases, and I'll possibly be going live about those here soon, hopefully. I don't know if I'll go live tomorrow, but I do plan on looking into those cases because people have asked me to. So stay tuned for that. Oh yeah, because bad. Yeah, they said he went to the Walmart and bought the rope. And the rope was around his neck, but it wasn't a noose and it wasn't a lynching. But he was found beside his truck. I don't know. I have to read more into it to find out what the fuck is going on. Like I said, the officials in that city have already claimed that there is no foul play. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know if the goddamn autopsy report hasn't came back? So they're jumping the gun trying to keep bad media from spreading about their town. And I'm like, y'all don't know what happened to him. Y'all are already jumping the gun and saying it wasn't a lynching. How do you know that? So, but so hopefully I'll get those covered here soon. Somebody has asked me if I wanted to talk to the parents about it, and I don't have a problem talking to the parents. I want to be respectful as possible to her child and as like what happened to her son, because she wants the case reopened, which I understand why. And I agree, the case should be reopened. It wasn't properly investigated. It sounds like the daddy is a piece of shit. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. So we shall see. I don't know, but I should be having those stories come out soon. But anyway, y'all have a good day. Hit the like, and I'll catch y'all on the next live. Peace, y'all.